country club, it's known for its wind, it's known for its weird conditions, but I think that Eric did a really good job with his course design changes this year, and I'm excited to play it.
They've definitely evolved with the game, and I think Emacs has a great influence out here in making sure that this course is up to par with the new age of where disc golf is.
I think some of the fast landing zones, I think it shows you that you have to maybe disc down even though you don't want to, just to stick it in bounds, and I feel like that's some of the points that I'm looking at this week and trying to stick is just sticking in bounds, even if it's losing 50 feet of distance.
I just think this course in particular, I think you probably have to execute at a little higher level just because of how many times everyone's been here. Everyone's a lot more comfortable playing out on this course.
The town we're in, the way Emporia embraces disc golf and the way the course is set up and how nice the flags look and the OBs and just how much time, I've seen the work that's put into these type of events, and it just shows out here. It's just beautifully ran, and it just makes it a great place to play golf.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day number 2 of the 2023 Dynamic Disc Open. We're back in Emporia. We're here at the Emporia Country Club, ready for the action and ready for the scoring to heat up. I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, joined alongside Luke Humphreys. Luke, we hear so much about the course, what Eric McCabe has done, how it's transitioned throughout the years, how they continue to keep up with challenging our players. Yesterday, what did we see in round number 1?
We saw an Emporia Country Club that was not as hard as it's been in the past. We saw the wind down. We saw the scoring conditions perfect, really. We saw 4 of our FPO players shoot at least 9 birdies or better, which is not normal for the Emporia Country Club.
Well, one of those women going out there and collecting birdies was Holland Hanley. We caught up with her after a round. Let's take a listen.
I think kind of getting my drives going, they were kind of missing a little bit of that pop and that power that they normally have, and so that cost me a couple OB strokes and left me short in some spots. So I'm going to try to come out the gates attacking the course a little bit more tomorrow. I think 10 was a really good change. I think more, it's still technical and difficult, but more of the field will be able to get it. And then I think 11, 12 are really good opportunities for us to score. I think the old hole 10 was kind of a little boring since only a handful of people really had the distance to try and be aggressive, so it resulted in a lot of threes. I think 13, I don't love it. I think it's a weird tweener hole because it's definitely not a par 3 for us, but it's kind of I don't know if it's hard enough to really be a par 4, so I think that one still needs a little work. And then I know Eric has some future plans for 18 because that's another one that's kind of a weird tweener.
And as you said, plenty of birdies on that scorecard. Really, I think she left a few opportunities out in Circle 2.
She definitely did. Only, she was 0 for 7 from Circle 2 opportunities. Ella 0 for 5, and the 2 girls behind them were 5 for 9. So the Circle 2 opportunities, they're going to be there. You're going to have to capitalize, Terry.
Well, and she was talking about hole number 13, as she said, that really feels and plays more like a par 4. I believe that's just an adjustment that's going to get made within our graphics and our scoring, actually. Yeah. I did talk to EMAC briefly. He said, yes, that is a par 4 for the FPO field. So if you look at that as a par as opposed to what is a bogey right now on the scorecard, regardless, a great score, a 7 under, and we know that Holland Hanley is out there trying to hunt down her first big win.
Yeah, she's been putting herself in the right positions, Terry. She's been on the lead cards lately. She's got a fantastic putt that I think holds up great under pressure. She keeps that putter right on the pole, and I look for her to continue her good play today.
All right. Someone else who, of course, shot well, Ella Hansen. She's put herself in position to take down some big wins. You just mentioned she has some C2 to clean up out there on the course, but we heard from Ella after her round yesterday. Here's what she had to say.
Very toasty, very sweaty, very hot. Yeah, I think overall I really like the changes. There's a couple of holes that just, kind of push the distance a little bit, a little more technical. I really like Missy said, the change on 10. I think that's a really, really fun adjustment, and yeah, I think overall I like the changes. Yeah, I was throwing the disc well. I was making all my C1 putts. I think the only one I missed was on 18, but I felt really good with the putter, really solid. Like I was, there wasn't a ton of wind, but I felt like I was reading it really well for the most part. And my forehand was feeling really good today. I was getting a lot of control and power out of that one.
So Holland Hanley with 91%. Then we see Ella Hansen with the 89%. They were getting it done in circle 1. Circle 2 is where they need to clean it up.
Yeah, you're exactly right. When Ella's putting good, she's one of the most dangerous players in the FPO division. She has all the power to attack this place. If we could see those girls drop a couple circle 2s, I think we'd see them solo lead after day 2.
And as we're seeing the scorecard there, interesting that Holland didn't get holes 10 and 11, and those were 2 holes that Ella got. And then you look at how they finished out, different on the back. That's where it felt like Holland Hanley really pushed through. She picked up a ton of birdies on the last third of the course. And Ella Hansen had slowed down during that section. So interesting that they arrived just 1 stroke apart from each other, but their scorecards look very different.
Yeah, 4 for 5 for Ella finishing up, Holland, and then Ella just that 1 miss on 18.
All right, well, Kristen Tatar was also out there. She's going to be on the lead card. We're going to hear from her on the other side of this commercial break.
I'm asked all the time, why do you play disc golf so much? The best answer I can think about is, there's just something about disc golf. You might think it's just like any other sport, but I can promise you this is not the case. Disc golf is the walking nature, the closing of your computer, the discipline that it requires, that sound of those chains. I don't know what it is. The whole world should have the opportunity to try it. Let's grow the sport.
The defending DDO champion as well as our world champion, Kristen Tatar, opened her round yesterday, 5 under. She's 2 off the lead, and she too had some opportunities. But look how we compare and contrast what her putting was like as opposed to the 2 women we just spoke of.
Yeah, you're exactly right. 58% from circle 1 is one of the most uncharacteristic rounds we've ever heard of from Kristen, and she's only 2 back after all of that, which is scary for the 2 girls in front of her, I'd say.
It is. I think about someone who doesn't play well or doesn't feel like she played well, but yet is just 2 behind. You see how she had a very eventful back half of her round. She as well, like we saw from Holland Hanley, missed 10 and 11, but then had some kind of action on every hole to clean out the rest of the round.
Yeah, only 5 pars on the round, Terry, so it was up and down, roller coaster, if you will, but she putted 2 for 5 from circle 2. She's able to grab those jumpers that we always see her grabbing, and I think if she continues that, she'll be able to pick up some strokes and most likely end up today with that lead.
And take a look at that scorecard. You see every single time she did have a mistake, every time she had a bogey, she bounced back with a birdie. We know that some of that world champion heart and tenacity that she brings time and time again. Kristen Tatar looking to clean up a few of those opportunities out there today. And we're going to head over to other opportunities. Missy Gannon, of course, we talk about her and her putting. She is going to be on the lead card. She's in a tie for 3rd along with Kristen Tatar. She got it done with the putter yesterday. We caught up with her after a round. Let's take a listen.
I was feeling good. I tend to always play well on the front 9. And then, there's a couple new holes in the back, but they didn't they weren't the problem for me in the back nine. It was just a couple of OB shots, and the island holes is a 2 or a 4 for me. I'm going for it every time, so yeah, I expect that. I think that it makes sense for a bigger course like this. Sometimes you don't want as much artificial OB, but I think it makes sense out here. And there's plenty of rough that's in play, so I think it's a good balance. I love the change on 10. I think that I love having to throw a technical shot off the tee, and then, if you're in good position, you feel like you should get up and down for the birdie. I think I just got to keep my head down and keep trying to get the birdies when I can, and just take it shot by shot. And I think it'll bode well for me.
And Luke, of course, no surprises when we take a look at the UDisc stats by Missy Gannon, 100% C1X, and she capitalized on a few of those C2s.
Yeah, she did. She's one of the best putters in the game at this point, and we know that she's also one of the most accurate players. So on a course that's got a bunch of artificial out of bounds, lots of string-lined fairways, she's going to place that disc in bounds and give herself a bunch of opportunities that she knocks down almost every time.
And you see the great start she had. She opened up 5 for 7. Of course, she'd like to replicate that today. We'll see what she can do. Of course, she's not going to have any problems with lead card nerves. She's been here a million times. I think that's one thing that's exciting about how our players will handle this moving into our moving day here at the Dynamic Disc Open.
Yeah, she's a Pro Tour champion. She's played under the biggest pressures that we have in our game. She succeeded in them. I think that Missy Gannon's going to have a fantastic day and continue hitting great putts.
She's right there in contention. We have action on the other side of the pond. We're going to catch up with Hayden Henry from the PDGA, and we're going to talk about what's taking place with the disc golf scene over in Europe on the other side of this break. We'll be right back.
What makes the Halal Guys so deliciously different? You might have heard of our famously long cart lines that NYC fans happily stand in. Today, with over 100 plus restaurants across the globe, we are your place to experience authentic American halal. Enjoy our delicious falafel, Euro sandwich, platters, and sides topped with our famously flavorful white and hot sauces. Order online today and taste how we make different so delicious. The Halal Guys, bringing something deliciously different to the table.
So one of my friends gave me this set of DGPT trading cards because they know I'm into disc golf and looking at tiny pictures of my favorite players, I guess. Oh, wow. A relic card. It's it's got a piece of disc in it from Paul McBeath. Ha! So apparently that Paul McBeath relic card was pretty rare and worth a lot of money. So I got 3 more sets. The more I do this, the more I see why people get so intense about trading cards. I'm still doing this ironically, by the way. Oh my gosh. 6 time to 20, on card auto, case hit, bookend. It's gotta be at least a 9. Look at how perfect that is. Those sharp corners. 3 big hits, only 2 dupes. Oh, this box was a banger. I'm definitely sending this in. I'm buying all the Heinberg I can get my hands on. So if you see something...
Joining us in studio is the PDGA's own Hayden Henry. And Hayden, we've got a ton of action going on here, as Luke and I were just recapping, but it's also happening on the other side of the pond. What are we seeing?
All around the world. Just the Kona PCA Open is underway. We're watching it all on DGN. The FPO got their second round completed today. Rachel Turton, what an amazing performance this morning from her from the UK. She actually came over and did a little mini tour stateside and finished 3 times inside the top 15, including a top 10 finish at the Portland Open. So just, again, showcasing the talent that we have in disc golf all around the world.
And what an interesting perspective for her to come here. Everyone learns her name, and then she goes back there. So now she's almost a household name. When we're watching her and seeing her perform at the highest level overseas, getting it done, there's so much exposure, so many different ways that people could learn about disc golf and the high level of the disc golf that's going on here on the Disc Golf Network. We also have some very important things taking place within the PDGA. We've seen board members put out some statements and have some podcast and interviews with Grant, but what else is happening? Why are they doing these podcasts? Why do people want to know what's going on with them?
Yeah, it's full-blown election season right now. You have 2 weeks to get to know the candidates before voting opens July 1st. We'll hammer that home to you all throughout July. You'll get a ballot to your email, 6 candidates for the global board. And we just announced the 4 candidates for the PDGA Europe board a couple days ago. So all around the world, get to know those guys and girls, and a crucial part of what we do. And you have 4 days to apply for the state and provincial coordinator position. That is so crucial. We have 7,000 sanctioned events this year all around the world. So that is a very important position. If you're intact with disc golf in your region, that's a great way to help out as well.
Well, other things the PDGA is doing is hosting our majors. Just last weekend, the United States Amateur Disc Golf Championships was taking place over in Michigan. We've got some highlights and a recap. Let's take a look.
Welcome everyone to the 2023 United States Amateur Disc Golf Championship presented by Discraft. I'm here alongside Brian Frawley of Wolfpack Discs, of Great Lake Discs, Matt Rothsteiner, the PDGA here, bringing you guys action from Milford, Michigan, the world-famous Toboggan Disc Golf Course. For those who haven't played this course, you better be in shape. Get on the Stairmaster.
Yeah, 40 flights of stairs roughly. You're literally getting to see the next generation of talent teeing off right in front of you on this brilliant course. It's a lot of fun.
Ryan Mulder from St. John, Indiana. This kid, he's only 15 years old. He's 990 rated. I don't know really what the ceiling is for this kid. We could absolutely see him on the Pro Tour. We've already seen him on the Pro Tour. So a historic round from a very young player.
The confidence that you have to drop a roller on that, where if you miss, you're going left or right down some hills and some valleys and on quite the adventure. So it was great to see.
Well, Brian, we've talked about this event being a launching point for players looking to move to the pro ranks.
And we'll talk about Calvin Heimberg and the MPO field on the other side of this break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Yesterday we saw Calvin Heimberg out in front, shooting the 11 under, the hottest round on the course. I heard you got a chance to catch up with him, maybe play a little practice round before the tournament started. What did you see?
Yeah, I did, Terry. And Calvin's looking as comfortable and as peaceful as I've ever seen him. It's a scary place to be when Calvin's shooting an 11 already at the top at a course that he plays fantastic at, and then he just seems to be loose.
Well, and you say comfortable and loose. I think, is Calvin ever stressed? I mean, that if he does, he hides it very well, doesn't he?
It's the persona that he puts on for sure. He's very mentally strong. He doesn't allow his emotions to get the best of him, and we see him winning tournaments, I think, because of that partly. Also because he's one of the best putters in the world, Terry.
Well, sometimes when that putter shows up, all of your nerves can be calmed quite easily. Yesterday, we heard from Calvin Heimberg after his round. Let's take a listen.
I played here a lot, but it's rarely this calm. We also aren't normally here this time of year. The closest thing we had to it was Worlds last year, and it was certainly more calm during Worlds than it typically is for DDO. So springtime, it's normally super windy here this time of year. It's a lot more likely that we'll get favorable conditions. And yeah, the lack of wind and then like the actual living grass definitely changes the way this course plays. It definitely changes the game plan a little bit on some holes, what discs you're going to throw. You can certainly be more aggressive, and then also I think just the big thing is putting. When it's calm, it's much easier to putt. Putting it out at 30 feet isn't as big of a deal as when it's windy. That's a much harder putt. So out here today, I think people were able to score pretty well because they just were able to make putts in a way that they aren't normally able to out here. I threw the disc really well for the most part. I didn't really make very many putts. I didn't have to. There was a lot of putts I had that were 15 feet and in. I think the biggest putt I made was on the island today, and it might have been like a 25-foot putt. So I threw the disc close to get my birdies, and then when I wasn't getting birdies, I really wasn't that close. I had a couple chances from deep in circle 2 to get birdies, but not really a whole lot. So I was either throwing the disc really well and being parked, or I just really wasn't playing for birdie on the hole. So as a whole, threw the disc well. If I can continue to throw the disc well, I'm going to score well, and hopefully I just make a couple circle 2 putts.
And as we were hearing from our leader, was there anything that surprised you in what he said as he recapped his round?
Not surprising. We hear Calvin talk about the details in depth, the way he analyzes the course, as good as any player that we have on tour. He talked about the aggressiveness you can have because of how live the grass is. There's not going to be as many skips, so you can throw it deeper into the fairways, not worry about skipping out of bounds, Terry.
Well, and then we see a host of guys at 10 under. What a competitive field as we're looking at the rest of the lead card. Yeah. Matty Oram along with Parker Welk and Emerson Keith. And then you continue to see the 10s, but let's talk about a few of those other guys on the lead card. Anyone stand out to you there?
I mean, Matty O, of course. I think that guy is as overdue as anybody gets. He's one of the best non-wind putters. He's got that soft nose-up bid, and I think that plays great for days when it's really not going to be that windy. A little humid today, possibility for rain later in the day, but I think Matty O sits in a great position.
Well, and I compare and contrast. I think about what Calvin Heimberg said. I don't think I made anything outside of 25 or 28 feet. Matty O's putter was coming in from everywhere. He even told us later that he switched up his putter just in the last week or two due to a practice round and playing with Kristen Tatar and a few others. Yeah. So how big of a change is that? Because that feels major to me that someone of that caliber and of this seniority within disc golf says he just switches up his putter in the last week?
Yeah, I believe he went from the Judge to the Pure, which is much more like a spin putter that he used in the past, and allows him to throw it a little softer. He doesn't feel like he has to force it onto the Anheuser angle and let it flex from the 30-foot range. This is much more his style putting with a Pure, similar to Kristen.
From there, he went off on a tangent about his favorite pizzas, and I don't know. I feel like we got a little lost in the sauce, so to speak, there. But he does like that shallower rim, which, as you said, gives you just maybe a little more carry, right?
Yeah, it does for sure. And we've got another guy behind him, Parker Welk, who at probably 150 pounds throws a forehand 450, a backhand 500. He's got one of the best combined throwing styles that we have in the game. He's new to some of you guys' memories probably, but Parker Welk is gonna make his name known.
And if you're talking about pound for pound throwers, Emerson Keith puts himself right in that conversation, as he should. Of course, we know he's got all the skills to take this down. He won at the OTB on a golf course, and here he is right in contention again.
Yeah, Emerson Keith, I've watched this guy mature, played with him back in Texas for many years before he wowed the world at the 2019 Worlds, and then showed up at OTB so brilliantly a couple weeks ago, and looking for him to do the same here.
All right, we're going to take one more break, and then we're going to wrap things up on the other side. We'll be right back.
The Trilogy Challenge is back, y'all.
My favorite putter, which is the Retro Orbit Pure.
Mine will be a Tournament Ice Orbit Warship.
And the driver for the Trilogy Challenge is my signature series, Fusion Ice Orbit Vandal. Are you ready to hit the course with these 3 discs for the Trilogy Challenge?
I hope you are. If you need more information, then go check out trilogychallenge.com.
Trilogy Challenge 2023. Be there.
And a few other players that we'll see on the chase card, Macy Veladiaz, Sayananda. We'll talk a little bit about both of them. First of all, I think of Macy. This felt like her breakout event a couple of years ago. She was out there flexing on them, as we like to see. We'll see if she continues to carry some of that momentum and excitement overall. She's playing for her hometown sponsor, of course, in Dynamic Disc. Anything that you saw from Macy Veladiaz when you looked at the scoring?
I love the forehand-backhand game that Macy brings. She's a mixed doubles world champion here in Emporia last year with Calvin Heimberg, so she's got to have good feelings coming back here, playing with the DD crew. I look for her to make some moves.
It should be exciting. And someone else who's definitely been putting herself in front of everyone else's front of their brain, so to speak, Sayananda. I mean, of course, has picked up a win here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour earlier in the year, and it feels like every single weekend when she's in the field, we're talking about her.
Yeah, she's making her name known. She's doing it both with her flair, you know, and her clothes, and also her flair in the game. Her ability to hit the circle 2 putt is really surprising to me, Terry. That's the thing that I love about Sai.
And certainly that circle 2 putt you speak of, I think of hole 16 yesterday. She had gone out of bounds and then goes to hole number 16. Only a few people, a few highlight reels are made. Ricky Wysocki feels like he's doing it whenever he wants. Sayananda also, as we're seeing on screen from the drop zone.
That
count
is
it.
Such a scary putt, Terry. You can easily go out of bounds. We saw Kevin Jones go to that drop zone yesterday, go out of bounds, take a 6 on that hole, or a 5, excuse me. So for her to do that in that moment, incredible. She's stepping up in the biggest of moments, Terry.
Yeah, it is awesome to watch her. So much flair and so much excitement, as you were just talking about. She is also part of the Trilogy family, as we all know. So she wants to put on yet another good weekend, another good event. And I'm excited to see what our players are ultimately going to do out here. It is moving day. We'll see if there's any weather that's going to play a factor. As we were talking about the humidity, the winds, so far things look pretty good out there.
They do look like some scoring conditions today, Terry. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of birdies from these ladies.
All right, yesterday birdies weren't the problem. It was just a matter of maybe backing off, cleaning up a few of the mistakes and also picking up a few of those opportunities from Circle 2. We're excited to see who can do that. Luke, I want to wish you the best of luck out there today. Thank you for standing in and helping us out here with Tournament Central. And we know that you've got work to do on the course yourself, and looking forward to talking to you later today.
Of course. My pleasure to be with you, Terry, and you guys.
All right, everyone. That's Luke Humphreys. I'm the Disc Golf Guy. We've got all of the action coming right up with our show. We're going to have Sarah Holcomb along with Ian Anderson. Round number 2 at the Dynamic Disc Open coming at you.